Welcome to a new episode. Today it's something a little bit different. I am at Fuji Speedway and I've been invited by Race Engineering for the presentation of the new CE28-N Plus. And it's kind of a new version of a very legendary wheel, and one wheel I've been running on my GTR for close to, like 20 years. And we're just about to have like a proper presentation and find out all the details about the new construction and how they've revived this legendary model over there. In the meantime, there's a lot of other cool race wheels to look at. So they have the LMH version of their Toyota wheels that is used in the FIA Endurance Championship, and then the one from the Super GT series. You can see how intricate the cutouts are to save and shave weight off their forged rims, of course. Center lug, even all the little drilling here to kind of center the wheel on the hub. So this is the president of Race checking out the lineup. So it's a really cool event because a bunch of media have been invited. A lot of really cool owners of shops, tuning shops here in Japan, are also present today. So everybody's really interested in the new sizing and what they can do with this wheel on their future project cars. So this is another prototype version. This is the NE24 Club Sport. So this is possibly going to be released later this year. You'll probably see it in the Nismo One Make series with the Fairlady Z's. Hasn't been really confirmed yet, but one cool wheel to look forward to. The regular one here. And this is the Club Sport, so potentially lighter construction, but we'll find out all the details during the presentation. And of course, the original. This is the T37, the current version, which is called the Saga S Plus. Like most wheels, they've just kept improving them and just refining construction. A lot of work and kind of thinking has been put into making sure that people don't copy these things, because as you know, there's a lot of knockoffs. So Race makes sure that their logos and all the markings like Forge, made in Japan, and the Race Engineering are actually machined into the wheel itself. And then they have this really special coating that kind of makes it look like a rainbow effect when the light hits it, so it's really hard to recreate. So at least that's the idea. So the ZE40 Time Attack 3 is another really cool wheel that is used a lot in circuit racing time attack here in Japan, because of course it's very light and it has that kind of progression to what the CE28N started. That said, they never put the CE28N out of production because it was such a popular wheel, and that's why in 2023 we are here seeing a revamp of it, and keen to hear all about it. So as you can see, as the sizing varies, it's either convex or concave, the spoke design. So as you can see from the slightly narrower ones, the spokes actually come out, they get flatter, and then they go inwards when you kind of up the width. Okay, so most media have stolen the other wheels, but we've got this kind of narrower one to just go through the major changes. So basically, because of structural improvements, the spokes are actually thicker, and there's a little bit of carving out around the edges here and also inside the spoke. And you'll notice that the additional holes that were here on the original model, the CE28Ns, are gone. And of course, there's no more stickers. Everything is engraved. So the Race and Volk Racing logos are engraved, as is made in Japan, so harder to copy. And then, of course, the main point of all these changes is that, in the last 20 plus years since this wheel has been released, so it came out in 1999, cars have, gone up quite considerably in power and performance. Tires have improved considerably. And of course, with that, braking, grip, and everything else. So there needs to be an additional improvement in the rigidity and the strength of wheels, and this is why the N Plus was made. Now the cool thing is that they've actually managed to drop some weight. It's gone up on some models, but some sizes have actually dropped down to 500 grams less compared to the original version. A big improvement all around, and I think some people may be a little bit disappointed, but the anodized coloring is gone. It's being replaced by this shiny kind of like bronze finish and then the silver. So this year, 2023, the 18-inch variations are on sale. Next year will be 17s, and then in 2 years we'll be getting the 19-inch lineup. So there's still some rollout needed to be done, and we start with the 18, which is probably like the most popular size to go on most cars. There you are, the all-new CE28N Plus. Part 2 of the event. We are at Fuji Short Course now. We moved down the road, and Rays have prepared a nice selection of demo cars for us to get some rides in later on. So let's check out what's on display here, starting with this YR Advance Subaru Impreza STI and the Varis GR Yaris on T37s. Interesting shade of green, very cool. Check out those massive AP Racing calipers, front and back. The rears are a different model to the monoblock front, and it's got selection of carbon fiber Varis parts, starting with this nice diffuser here and the bonnet and the underside of the skirts to kind of complete that look. Just a nice simple highlight to the original body. There's a carbon wing here too, carbon extension here, and this stuck-on fender flares to kind of contain the aggressive offset of the wheels. Of course, in Japan, to pass Shoshakin, there's a certain ratio that you need to maintain, so that's why you see a lot of these strips stuck onto cars, and that includes the R34 Nismos that have the fender flares attached to the fenders, something I actually quite hate. And this is quite interesting. This is an Exedi, I think it's a Gymkhana car. I think, yeah, there it is. So it's driven by Tetsuya Yamano. Yamano is a very famous Japanese professional GT driver, and he was handling a Super GT race team at one point, and now he does a lot of Gymkhana competitions. And this is obviously one of the cars that he's been driving this year, Renault Alpine on CE28s. These are the older models. As I mentioned before, they're not available in the matte finish anymore, so you can only get them painted. But what a cool car to see modified and used properly. I actually drove the Alpine in anger at a recent event they did. Well, actually, it was not so recent, probably late last year. And I got to throw it around some cones and do some type of Gymkhana work. And it's a really fun car. Could do with a bit more power, but I enjoyed it a lot. All right, so I think Yamano's coming back with a Trust Hachiroku. We'll take a look at that car soon, but first I wanted to check out this Golf GTI from Maniacs. So these are the guys that actually fit the Bilstein suspension kit to my old Audi RS4 Avant a couple of years back. Mainly Volkswagen, Audi group oriented shop down in Yokohama. They do amazing work. They're much like a lot of these shops that do German cars here in Japan. They're the masters of offsets and, you know, slamming a car to make it look its best. It's running the brand new CE28-N Plus that we just saw the unveil of, and some Michelin. Nice to see a bit of variety. It's not only Japanese cars here today. And then from down in Osaka, we have J's Racing. They brought their F05 Civic Type R, and it's running the CA28 N SLs, so the Superlaps, Adva Niovas, and you can see the new CE28N Pluses ready to be fitted, so we can do a before and after comparison to feel if we maybe notice the improvement in rigidity and lightness. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to kind of notice that kind of difference if I'm not driving, but we'll definitely take a ride. Right, over here's the Prova Impreza. Again, wearing some Varis goodies. Here's Mr. Tamura. Hello, Mr. Tamura. What are you driving today? Let me guess. GTR?
Oh,
New one?
Oh, over there.
Over there? Okay, we'll go look later. And of course, Mr. Tamura has been working with Rays for what, 35 plus years now?
35 years.
Yeah.
I think about for Minasan, the president, CEO of Minasan, we have a so
long relationship, right?
Actually, brother.
Yeah.
But you know, for Rays is the forge role very, very high technology company.
Yeah.
So we Nissan also not so easy to justify.
Sure.
Impossible to adopt our status car, which is GTR or Z.
Yeah, absolutely.
Must have some super high difficult criteria. They need to pass.
Yeah.
That's why rating is so high.
Yeah.
Japanese champion means the world champion level.
Very high level performance and top level forged rims, right? So That's why Nissan, as well as Nismo, always choose Raise engineering. Thank you for chatting to us. I'll see you later. So yeah, again, here's the Prova Impreza. Finished in a nice, I don't know if it's wrapped, matte red, interesting. And the GR86. So the driver Yamano-san is currently being interviewed by Option Magazine. And this car has just been fitted with the new CE28-N Pluses. I have to say, for me, the T37 is amazing, but the C28 just, I think it wins. And that's the reason I've been running those rims of my GTR for so long. I've tried different wheels in the meantime, but I've always kept the 19-inch version of C28s for street use because I think they just look amazing against the Bayside Blue. So I don't know, you guys tell me in the comments which you prefer, T37s or C28s or ZE40s, let me know. I'm kind of interested to see what you guys think too. Right, so as Mr. Tamura said, he came with a new GTR, so let's go take a look because these cars have just started deliveries of the regular one. The Nismo one starts in August, I believe, so a couple of more months to go. But aside from the Nissan Gallery in Yokohama and the Tokyo Auto Salon earlier this year, this is the very first time I see the 2024 GTR out on the street. And it looks like Tamura's been killing some bugs on the way down to Fuji today. What do you guys think? Do you like that bumper? The daytime running lights? These daytime running lights are an interesting addition. But basically it looks exactly the same as a T-Spec from last year. It's maintained the wheels, the braking package from the Nismo, and that Millennium Jade inspired green hue, which I like. So the denomination remains still available for 2024 as a T-Spec and a Nismo. Oh, it's a J's Racing Civic. Wow, that sounds raspy. Yeah, I mean Fuji Short is really awesome to drive, but for shooting, filming, it kind of sucks. You just basically have the main straight here. Nice and aggressive for a first lap out. Okay, so car that was out before when I went to the pits has returned. Okay, so here's the Z34, our Z34 rather, that was out before when the Hachiroku was in. So this car is currently running the brand new C28Ns. It smells amazing, as in it's been properly used for a couple of laps. Love the smells. So a lot of cars are actually running Michelins today. Pilot Sport 5s on the Z. The Golf is also running Michelins. And you'll have to apologize, I just can't get over how cool this GR Yaris looks. The Varis are so good at just highlighting those OEM lines and just injecting a bit more aggression. And plus the car is just, yeah, I want it really bad. I've been banned from buying more cars. We've just gotten a new addition to the Dino DC garage, which I'll be introducing in a couple of weeks. So yeah, I'm banned from small cars now. You'll see why soon. Loving the number plate. If you've never heard about this and you come to Fuji Speedway, you should definitely visit the short course, because if you look up here, this is actually the old banked first corner that used to wrap around way wider than what we have now as a first corner and kind of disappear off there. This is basically a vertical wall. You can actually go up there and climb it. There's an access road just after the bridge there. And yeah, you can climb up and try to make your way up the banking. I guarantee you'll fail probably halfway. I've tried it many times, just end up slipping. And it kind of gives you an idea of what those guys were doing back in the days, like, you know, 60, 70 years ago, racing that wall at like full power. And of course, a lot of cars ended up flying out and a lot of crashes, a lot of injuries. I'm not sure about deaths, but that's the reason they got rid of the banked corner when they renewed Fuji Speedway. So the new C28 Pluses have been fitted to the J's Racing FL5. One of the drivers is going to take it out. And these are the C28 SLs that have just come off
the Civic, thoroughly used for a few laps. And right behind it here, YR Advance. Impreza is getting its set of second wheels fitted. So these SLs are running Toyo 888Rs. And speaking of different, I guess it's one of the press guys that has shown up with a lifted Prius on Ray's ZE40s. Massive Toyo tires, over fenders, a hybrid with a quad exhaust, roof rack. Okay, we have to take a look at the front. And bull bars. Something a bit different for your hybrid. Can never go wrong with a set of white TEs. This is the S Plus Time Attack. It's got that red line on the top of the rim. So I thought I should point out that there's a nice Z here in the car park. This is from Garage Chikara down in Mie. And this is their demo car. They've always been specialists when it comes to Fairlady Zs, especially the 33 and 34. And I was talking to the owner of the shop, and he was mentioning that he's just fitted the Z34 NA exhaust, and it runs quite well. Sounds quite nice. He revved it for me before. And basically, stock engine. He hasn't done much except a little bit of fiddling around with the ECU. And first thing he did was fit aftermarket wheels and brakes. So he's got an endless brake package at the front and the back. And he was telling me that the car really needs it. By the way, top secret carbon bonnet. The car really needs it because it's quite powerful, and this is something I've experienced when I drove the car. He said that in fourth gear in the wet the other day, he was overtaking a truck on the highway, and the wheels spun and the car went a little bit sideways on the highway at like 120. So that engine develops an insane amount of torque, and you really have to be careful because the traction control is quite antiquated in that car. It's not as quick as, say, like a BMW or Mercedes would be. Both of the drivers have had a chance to take every car out and compare it to an older model of Ray's and then to the CE28-N Pluses. And now they're giving their feedback, and hopefully after this we can take a ride in the cars. Okay, I didn't really spot it before because it sits kind of inward, but that's the reason this FL5 is so raspy. Nice center exit exhaust from Jay's Racing. Recaro buckets, their own steering wheel, and a shift knob. That's pretty much it. That's what you need in these cars to make them cool. I remember driving the Spoon, if you've seen the video on that, and just thinking how simple tuning modern day cars are. I mean, you don't really need much. Like any media event, the selection of open face helmets, and I'm sure there it is, the head condoms, because it's June and it's hot and it's humid and we sweat. Okay, so I'm all strapped in. Got my L size helmet, got my head condom under here. I'm gonna be riding in the Z, and then I get to drive something. I'm not sure what yet, so we're gonna have to wait and see. So I'm in the Z now, and I'm gonna wait for my driver to arrive and hopefully fix this camera in a position that we can actually see something. Being in New Z, there's not much glass available, especially with the sucker setup I currently have. So I may have to hold it, so apologies in advance if this is going to be a tad bouncy. Okay, here's my driver.
Okay, hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, Yamano-san.
How are you?
Great, how are you?
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for the drive.
Okay.
Okay, so we have an automatic version of the RZ34.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, this is an insane amount of grip that we're developing here. Wow, this is so fast, this car. Oh my god. It's actually the first time I come out on automatic version of these cars.
Okay.
Yeah, very fast shifting.
Yeah.
Good on downshifts too. I can't believe the speed on the first corner. Oh my gosh. This is insane. Little cool down lap. Wow, that was impressive. So you are able to feel the difference between the SL and the N Plus?
Yes, yes, very much, very much.
Steering, braking.
Uh-huh.
So there you go. I mean, you know, as cars get more powerful and more advanced and tire technology keeps improving, you have to improve every aspect of the car, right? So wheels are very much included. Amazing ride. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That was so much fun.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so I did just find out I will be driving the Z after all. I'm the last guy to jump in, so I'll get a nicely set of scrubbed tires. I think we're running Michelin Pilot Sport 5s. Michelin Pilot Sport 5s. Stock engine, automatic transmission, and really fast, as Yamano-san showed me. My God. Looking forward to this, so we gotta wait a little bit and then we can jump in. Okay, here we go. So new Z with the automatic transmission and the new Rays CE28-N Pluses. And the last guy here. Telling me I've gone right up to the 1.5 G mark on the lateral. Yeah, what a workout. So easy to drive with the auto. And back to the pits we go. Okay, so that's it. That was my test drive of the Z over. I was very impressed. I can't really say if I felt any improvement. I'm not that much of a good driver, and I obviously didn't have a chance to test the older version of the wheels, but anything that reinforces and kind of makes the whole structure more rigid and is catered to more powerful cars, it kind of makes people that tune and modify modern day cars feel a little bit safer. You don't want to have a failure in one of the most important areas of the car. So massive thank you to Rays Engineering. They put on an amazing event here at Fuji Speedway, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me hear in the comments below if you want to see more of these kind of events. All right, really cool car that Porca Dio Cane.